Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I know I said there's gonna be like a weekly series, but I've got some stuff going on, and I decided to throw in a second video this week on our Cyber Dragon series, our regional prep series. And this time we're testing, I can't believe I'm saying this, Invoked Cyber Dragon. Now I know what you're thinking. How could we run Alistair when you know Cyber Dragon needs our normal summon? The fact of the matter is, as much as I love core doesn't get us a whole lot. So I started looking at other avenues. In this case, we decided to look at Alistair. Alistair on summon searches Invocation, which is an okay-ish fusion spell. We'll get to that in a second. But the actual engine for it is really consistent and really easy to use, and it allows us to have an actual going first board. This build is actually built for going first. I'm still tweaking it a little bit because I've never actually messed with this engine before, but let's talk about it. Obviously we still have Yugiohs, though I might side them since this is a going first build, but they're also nice to have just in case, you know, we lose the die roll. Alternative for board clear, Regulus because we're playing Clockwork Knight. Still 2 Cyber Dragons, don't need more than that. We are playing 3 Galaxy Soldiers because we are not going to be using our normal summon for core if we have Alistair. So I'd rather open up with Galaxy Soldiers. Same deal with Hertz. Also, Hertz is all of our recursion. Now, Alistair. This is who we're going to talk about. So he has 2 effects. Quick effect, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard to target 1 fusion monster you control against 1,000 attack and defense until the end of turn. If this card is normal summoned or flipped face up, you can add 1 invocation from your deck to your hand. Then we've got invocation. Fusion summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand as fusion material. Okay. Send from hand, grave, fusion. If summoning an invoked fusion monster this way, you can banish monsters from your field and or either player's graveyard as fusion material. If this card is in your graveyard, you can target 1 of your banished Alistair the Invoker, shuffle this card into deck, and if you do, add that monster back to hand. So the way there's one more main deck card, which is Magical Meltdown. When this card is activated, you can add 1 Alistair the Invoker from your deck to your hand. The activation of your cards and effects that include an effect that fusion summons a fusion monster cannot be negated. Also, your opponent's cards and effects cannot activate when a monster is fusion summoned this way. You can only activate 1 Magical Meltdown per turn. So, Magical Meltdown searches Alistair, makes it so our fusions can't be interrupted and your opponent can't respond to the summon. And then we summon Alistair, Alistair grabs Invocation, Invocation gets us a fusion. So the whole normal play looks like this. Magical Meltdown, search Alistair, summon Alistair, search Invocation, link away Alistair for Almirage, link away Almirage for Secure Gardener, Invocation into a Mechaba, and we have a first turn pseudo Omni Negate depending on what's in our hand. Then we can actually banish, send the Invocation from our graveyard back to deck, add Alistair from our banished back to our hand, and at a minimum we have a monster negate, or we could pump Mechaba up by 1,000. And if we open up the nuts, we can also get out an Infinity. Hence why Infinity's still here. We look at some of the other stuff in the deck. Obviously, we're playing triple Clockwork Knight this time with Rivalry since this is a going first build. And guess what? Mechaba is a machine monster. So if we get to Mechaba, do the rest of our setup, and we can actually use Rivalry to keep our negates on the board. And the only thing it would really stop us from doing is using Alistair that way. Granted, we can still fuse with him from the graveyard if we want to make a second Mechaba. That's why we're running 2. But yeah, it's pretty cool how it synergizes a little bit. Extra deck, Eternity Dragon, just because he's a big body if we need him, and if they kill Mechaba, it actually fits his criteria of needing a machine fusion monster for all his protection. Double Mechaba because it's so easy to summon and it's such a good card, just being able to negate and banish. Cyber Twin for OTK, Mega Fleet is contact fusion. I'm gonna butcher this name, Invoked Algoides. It's Alistair and a fusion monster from either graveyard if you're making it. If this card is special summoned or a monster is special summoned to my opponent's side of the field, I can target 1 monster my opponent controls and destroy it. If you can only use this effect of Algoides once per turn. Once per turn, you can banish one fusion monster from your graveyard and he gains the attack points of that monster. Good for getting over beaters. A little bit of a floodgate-ish. I actually haven't gotten to really use this card, so. Chimera Tech Fortress, you guys know the deal. Purgatorio, I hope to God I said that right. It's made with Alistair and a fire monster. That's why we have the Almirage play. We were already playing Almirage because of core, but it can attack all my opponent's monsters and it gains 200 for each card my opponent controls. You can actually combo this with Alistair to make it 33 and just swing over an entire board. Rampage for OTK, Nova, Infinity. We can actually fit Seeger into this one. That was one of the cards I was missing out of the branded deck that we did last time. But I've got a quick little match for you guys, and we will talk about it while we play. So let's jump into the gameplay. Alright, this is us going up against Sword Soul-ish. It's like I'm pretty sure it was a worm deck with some Sword Soul splashed into it. It was a little weird. But unfortunately we didn't open Alistair, but we do have our backup normal summon, which is what core is turned into for this deck. We start off with emergency, get core gets overflow since we're going first, and we already have a Galaxy Soldier and a Hertz in hand to make Infinity. So we're gonna try and establish the best going first board we can. So we link off core for Almirage. You know, Almirage still has that destruction protection, not the greatest, but not bad. Trigger Galaxy. Galaxy grabs Galaxy. Hertz grabs Cyber Dragon. You guys know the deal. Now, activate the second Galaxy Soldier, ditching the Cyber Dragon. These are just basic Cyber Dragon plays. Unfortunately, right now, so this is the small downside I have with the package, is that right now, Invocation is a dead card because it only fuses from hand unless you are making an invoked monster, and all of the invoked monsters need you to have Alistair. Granted, if we had Alistair, we would have had a lot more options. We actually could have easily made a Mechaba on top of the Infinity. But unfortunately, we didn't open up Alistair or a way to search it. Which is why we are also playing Terraforming, because that's our 4th Magical Meltdown. So just with that package, there's 7 starters. But we were still able to establish an okay board. Okay-ish. We have Overflow with a couple pops. Almirage to protect Infinity. Infinity with a Hertz attached to it so we can get follow-up when we detach. He spends a lot of time trying to bait me into the negate. As soon as I saw the shooter, I already knew I was in trouble. I was thinking, shit, what can I do? Because all he's gonna do is banish Vishuda to bounce back Infinity to get to In the Grave. I had to negate this thing because this thing was going to bounce it anyway. So. Sorry, I was going to destroy my monster. I definitely just read that wrong. But either way, we detach Hertz, Infinity negate and destroy, and then Hertz adds us back core, so we have follow-up for next turn. If our opponent doesn't blow us out. Now, in our graveyard, we have Hertz and a regular Cyber Dragon, which gives us 2 pops with Overflow. He uses the Vishuda to bounce back Infinity, like I said he was going to. a Darla to add that back from banished. And now, yeah, that guy. Long Yuan? I think that's how you say that. But for anybody who doesn't know what he does, he summons himself from hand and special summons a token. So now you can make a level 9. You can make a level 9 synchro. Damn, why can't I spit that out? But I ended up activating the overflow. I was going to get rid of one and just get rid of the Long Yuan, but I ended up getting rid of both of them. Because even if he can't synchro with the token, he would still give him an extra piece of link material. So I was trying to slow him down as much as I could. Yeah, he's playing a heavy Tenyai package or a heavy Tenyai build with a few Sword Soul cards stacked into it. This thing lets you bring back a monster. I actually just learned what this does today because they added it into Master Duel, you know, where they teach you how to use different decks. I barely knew what any of the Tenyai cards actually did. Tenyi. Oh, and then he had this too. So now you can make a level 7. Sorry, level 8, even worse. And he makes Berserker. Birdsby for 12. Punches Almirage in the face. So I take all this damage. But you know what? With our hand, even with the invocation, this is definitely salvageable. And now it just became awesome. Because, as I've said before, Infinite Impermanence can double as a board breaker. So, Berserker can banish one of our monsters when we activate a monster effect. So we're just like, nah, you know what? Let's just take care of that right now. Now, because we banished our Cyber Dragons, we have no Cyber Dragons in grave for Repair Plant. So Repair Plant does not work right now. But we normal summon Core. We're actually going to search out Cyber Load Fusion because we have 2 banished Cyber Dragons right now. And now we're going to contact Fuse into his monster since he does have a monster in the extra monster zone, and you know, we Cyber Dragon players, we love to see it. Bang. Gimme. Nom 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 nom. Now, we have to be careful with Cyber Load Fusion, because with Cyber Load Fusion, whatever monster we summon is the only monster that can attack for the rest of the turn. So we have to be careful. We do use Repair Plant now that we have a Cyber Dragon in grave, and we actually search Naxter. Now hear me out. There's a reason for this. We do have our Nova in the graveyard that we can bring back, because he did bounce our Infinity, even though we're only running the 1 copy. So after going through my graveyard real quick, I end up picking the Naxter, and I'm just like, what can I do? How can I get Naxter out? I need a card to discard because I already normal summon this turn. But then I remembered we have Cyber Load Fusion in our hand. Which means, like I said, the monster that we summon is the only one that can attack. So check this out. I actually was very proud of myself for this play. We end up making Rampage Dragon with Cyber Dragon and Hertz, sending them back to the deck, which is great for, you know, use later. Then we activate Rampage Dragon, dumping Hertz and Jizukiru because we don't need the Kaiju anymore. So we end up using Hertz, grab a Cyber Dragon, both in deck, and now use Naxter's effect, dish the Cyber Dragon, summon back the Naxter, summon out the Naxter. Then Naxter's effect gets us back our Nova. Can you guys see where I'm going with this? Because sure, Rampage is the only monster that can attack right now, which means we cannot kill him yet. Remember, this is Cyber Dragons. Killing people is our job. You give us a simplified board state, we will put you to bed. So we bring back Infinity. Infinity absorbs Berserker, and then we link summon our copy of Seeger using the Naxter that we already finished using, and the Mega Fleet that can't attack anyway. Proceed to battle phase. Seeger pumps up Rampage Dragon, and we swing for game. Boop. Boop. Now, when it comes to siding against this deck, well, we don't go too crazy. We actually just side out our rivalry. We side out our rivalry of the Warlords to add in Nibiru. Since this is a very combo heavy deck, and he does do a lot of summons, we're just like, Nib should do the trick. And that's the only side we did. We probably could have added Ash Blossom or Droll, but I was just like, I didn't really want to take anything out. The whole point was to, you know, experiment with this version of the deck. But I did assume that we were going second. And we did not see Nibiru. But our hand is so much fun. Do you guys see this shit? This is, if we were going first, this would be an insane hand. But even going second, this is still a really, really fun hand. Like, I'm very excited for you guys to see my next turn. So, summons, blinks away, and now he's gonna summon from deck. That's such a good little engine. And he summons this thing. I've never even seen this card before. By attributing his monster. Summons another one of Fist. And yeah, that was it. And I assumed that he bricked because this is a pretty simplified game state. And what did I say about simplified game state in Cyber Dragons? We will put you to bed. So, first things first, attempt to bait out a negate with Clockwork Knight. I didn't have negate, so it's fine. Now we're going to Cyber Emergency. Boop. Get Hurts, since we already have Galaxy Soldier. Activate Galaxy Soldier. Alright. Now Galaxy Soldier activates. Gets us another Galaxy Soldier. Hurts gets us Cyber Dragon. Now, he made a misplay, and I was a little confused by the misplay. So that face down card he has is Imperm, because he's going to flip it up when I summon Nova. Why he didn't Imperm the Galaxy Soldier, I'll never know. He could have stopped me from getting that far in the first place. But yes, now we spit that out. Nova it up. Obviously, we're going to use Nova to summon back a Cyber Dragon, and then we were going to contact use his board since we have the Clockwork Knight. But he saw to that. So I was like, alright, moving on to, you know, our actual normal summon, because we still haven't normal summoned at this point. He negates it. We jump right into our Void Infinity. Boop. We're gonna nom his monster. You know, good suck. And now we could summon Alistair. I was just double checking its effect to make sure I wasn't gonna, you know, interrupt this in some way. Now we know we'll summon Alistair. Alistair goes for a search. Gets us Invocation. Which I don't mind having 2 invocations because once we make Mechaba, that means we have a spell negate. So I'm totally okay with that. Bam, Mechaba. Getting rid of Alistair and Galaxy Soldier from our graveyard. Banishing both. Galaxy Soldier doesn't do anything for us in the graveyard, so we're good to go. Now we activate the invocation, sending the invocation back to deck, and to add Alistair from the grave. Now, we could keep the Imperm in hand to be able to negate traps, but I just, obviously he's playing Sword Soul. I mean, how many traps is he really going to play? and he would have to set them first. So it's just like I'd be losing out on a monster negate to keep this card in hand. So we attack his monster, attack his life points, set the imperm, and pass the turn. We still have a monster negate and a spell negate on Mechaba, plus our Omni negate from Infinity. So we're looking pretty good. And all his monsters are turned into machines, which I don't know how much that affects Sword Soul. But he has another Long Yuan. Oh, I guess I had turned chaining off because I couldn't respond to him attempting to summon that monster, and I was like, yeah, because obviously we would have just negated it. He tries to summon from deck. We do negate this. I was going to use Mechaba, but Mechaba negate and banishes, and it's already banishing itself. So I was like, we're fine. And then this thing gains attack power for everything that's banished. If something gets banished, he can banish something else, or it reduces our attack points, I think. Burns us. I almost negated that too. That was the funny part. Now I do make a little bit of a misplay here, but you guys get what I was going for. But right now he's got higher attack points than us. So yeah, his monster gains 100 for each, and ours loses 100. So he goes to swing into Infinity. Now I had misread Alistair, and I thought Alistair could give Infinity power, but it only gives it to fusion monsters. So, oops. But it's okay, because we have Imperm face down. So I end up realizing my mistake, and I flipped the Imperm, resetting our attack points back to normal. But then, of course, his monster loses 500 because of Clockwork Knight. Ours gains 500, and we're able to run over his monster. And with one card in hand, he concedes. Yeah. All right, guys. Here's one more look at the deck. I know it was just Sword Soul Tenyi, nothing super meta defining, but the fact that we can actually have a deck with a solid going first board for Cyber Dragon is a rarity, and it's actually kind of nice. So, I don't know much about the Invoked engine. This is literally just experimenting, trying to figure it out. I don't know what kind of text I could fit in here that might also help. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Please let me hear your opinions. Let me know what you guys think between the branded deck and this one. Would you prefer, the branded deck to just blow them out, or do you think this one's can be turned into like more of a control deck to give us more, being able to slow the game down a little more? If you guys want to check me out on social media, those links will be down below. Again, shout out to Yugioh for inspiring me. You're the one who got me going into this, and I can't wait to experiment more. I think next up we're going to try out Cyber Sprite, and between those three decks and obviously pure Cyber Dragon, we'll figure out which one we like the most, which one has the highest chance of getting us that top, and then we'll start actually working more on that specific deck. But yeah, that's it from me, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.